Hello, and welcome back to Retirement Briefing. I'm really glad you're here with me today. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Matthew, and this channel exists for one simple reason: to help you stay informed, protected, and confident when it comes to Social Security, retirement, and the financial decisions that affect your peace of mind. If you've been with me for a while, then you already know how much I respect your time and how seriously I take bringing you information you can actually use. Now, take a breath with me for a second. Christmas week is usually the one time of year when people living on fixed incomes finally try to slow down. The big bills are already planned. The gifts are wrapped. Family is visiting or calling. And for a few days, many seniors stop checking the news every morning, hoping nothing new comes out that could affect their money. That feeling of finally being able to relax, even just a little, matters. But this year, Christmas week is different. Because right in the middle of it, Social Security is delivering something that affects nearly every single beneficiary in this country. And I want to be very clear right from the beginning, so there's no confusion and no unnecessary stress. This is not a surprise payment. This is not a bonus check. And this does not mean money is being deposited on Christmas Day. What's coming is quieter than that. But in many ways, it's more important. It's a document. An official Social Security document. And depending on your situation, this one piece of paper could protect you, help you later, or create serious problems if you ignore it. I know that might sound dramatic, but stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why so many people regret not paying attention to this every single year. On Christmas Day, Social Security is making an official form available online for beneficiaries through their My Social Security accounts. Then, starting the very next day, December 26th, that same document begins going out in the mail. This applies to retirees, disabled workers, widows and widowers, people receiving SSI, and even people who normally never file taxes and never deal with the IRS at all. And yet, every single year, millions of people either don't open it, don't read it carefully, or throw it away thinking it doesn't apply to them. This year, that assumption is more dangerous than it used to be. The document I'm talking about is your Social Security tax form, the SSA 1099. For some people living outside the United States, it's called the SSA 1042S. This form shows exactly how much money Social Security paid you during the year. Not an estimate. Not what you think you received. The official number that Social Security reports directly to you and directly to the IRS. And that last part is critical, because whatever number appears on that form is already sitting inside the IRS system under your name and your Social Security number. Most years, this doesn't cause much concern. People glance at it and move on. But this year is not a normal year, and there are several reasons why. First, let's talk about timing. The fact that Social Security is releasing this form digitally on Christmas Day tells us something important. This is not an afterthought. This is the official start of tax reporting season. If you have a My Social Security account, you can log in on December 25th and download the form immediately. If you don't have an account, that's okay. Paper copies begin mailing on December 26th, and by law, everyone should receive theirs by the end of January. So no one is being rushed, but everyone is being notified early. And that early timing is your first clue that this year is not business as usual. Now let's talk about why so many people ignore this form, and why that instinct can quietly come back to hurt them later. A very large number of Social Security beneficiaries do not normally file federal income taxes, and that is completely legitimate. If your income is low enough, or if Social Security is your main source of income, you may not be required to file at all. So year after year, people receive this form and think, I don't file taxes. I don't need this. And most years, they're right. But here's the problem. Rules change. Payments change. Laws change. Income thresholds change. And when those changes happen, the tax system often becomes the backup system, even for people who never expected to deal with it. We've seen this pattern again and again. During previous relief programs, the government repeatedly said that payments would go out automatically. And for many people, that happened exactly as promised. Money appeared in bank accounts. Checks arrived in the mail. No action required. But not everyone was so lucky. Some people were missed because of outdated direct deposit information. Some were missed because of address changes. Some were missed because of data mismatches between agencies. Some were missed because systems simply didn't sync correctly. And when that happened, the guidance eventually became very clear. If you did not receive your payment automatically, the only way to claim it was by filing a federal tax return, even if you had never filed before, even if you did not owe any taxes, even if Social Security was your only income. That's where millions of people were caught completely off guard. They assumed they would never need to file. They assumed paperwork didn't matter. They assumed the system would fix itself. And suddenly, months or even years later, they were told the only path forward ran straight through the IRS. Now, I want to be very careful here. I am not saying a new stimulus or relief payment is guaranteed right now. There are discussions and proposals, but nothing has been officially approved as of today. But history teaches us something important. When payments, credits, or corrections happen, not everyone gets them automatically. And when people are missed, the tax system is almost always how the government fixes it. And the tax system runs on documentation. That is why this form matters, even if you do not file taxes today. It's not about what's happening this week. It's about protecting yourself if something changes later. Now, there's another group of people who especially need to pay attention this year. People whose Social Security income increased. Earlier this year, major law changes corrected long-standing benefit reductions that affected millions of workers, including teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public employees. When those rules were changed, benefits increased. And for many people, retroactive payments were issued to make up for years of reduced benefits. Some of those lump sums were a few $1,000s. For others, they were much larger. That money was deserved. It was overdue. And for many families, it provided real relief, the kind of relief that helps pay off debt, catch up on bills, or finally breathe a little easier. But from a reporting standpoint, it still counts as income in the year it was paid. That means when people open their SSA 1099 this year, they may see a number that is much higher than what they are used to seeing. And that higher number can change things. It can change whether you need to file a return. It can change how much of your benefits are considered taxable. It can change eligibility thresholds for other programs. Many people don't realize this until they are already behind. They assume the number is wrong because it looks unfamiliar, or they assume it doesn't matter because it was back pay. But the IRS does not see it that way. They see a number, and they expect your records to match it. This brings us to another issue that almost nobody talks about until it happens to them. Errors. Social Security processes millions of records. The IRS processes millions more. Most of the time, everything works correctly. But occasionally, mistakes happen. A number gets entered incorrectly. Payments are misclassified. Records get crossed. And when that happens, the IRS does not assume an error. They assume the data is correct until you prove otherwise. That's why simply checking this form matters so much. Take a few minutes. Compare it to your monthly payments. Think about whether you received a lump sum. Ask yourself whether the total makes sense. If something looks wrong, that is the time to act, because fixing an error early is usually simple. Waiting until the IRS sends a letter is not. Now let's talk about another quiet change that makes this year different. Deductions. Recent tax changes expanded deductions aimed specifically at seniors. These deductions sit on top of the standard deduction, which has already increased in recent years. In simple terms, this means some people who never benefited from filing a tax return before may now benefit from filing, even if they do not owe money. In some cases, filing can reduce taxable income to zero. In other cases, filing can protect eligibility for credits or future payments. This does not mean everyone should suddenly file, but it does mean the old assumption "I never file, so I never will" is no longer safe for everyone. And once again, everything starts with this form. Because whether you use a tax professional, free tax software, or a volunteer assistance program, the first question is always the same. How much Social Security income did you receive? And the official answer comes from this document. That is why ignoring it creates delayed risk. Not panic today, but problems later. A quick word about access. Social Security is clearly pushing people toward online accounts. fewer phone calls, fewer in-person visits, more digital management. Having a My Social Security account does not mean you are doing anything risky. It simply means you can see what they see. You can download documents instantly. You can catch errors early. You don't have to wait weeks for mail. You don't have to use it all the time. But having access gives you control. And control matters when deadlines and corrections come into play. So let's bring everything together calmly and clearly. When this form becomes available, whether online or by mail, do not ignore it. Look at it. Check the number. Make sure it makes sense. If it does, store it somewhere safe. If it does not, contact Social Security and address it early. That's it. No panic. No assumptions. Just awareness. Because this one piece of paper quietly protects you, whether you need it this year, next year, or to fix something later. And every single year, the people who run into trouble are not the ones who owe money. They are the ones who ignored the paperwork. Stay informed. Stay calm. And protect yourself before problems ever start. If this update helped you, please take a second to like this video. It really does help the channel reach other seniors who need this information. Make sure you're subscribed to Retirement Briefing and turn on notifications so you don't miss important updates like this, especially as we move into the new year. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Enjoy your holiday week, hold on to your peace, and as always,